Welcome back everyone to episode 3 of Rotary Rumble, where I'm going to start discussing, mining. Now, in traditional Minecraft as well as CFH core ore generation, you tend to get ore generating in small clusters. Not so with the current configuration using custom ore gen. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually follow this copper vein and see how much of it we can dig up. And we're also going to see sort of how the ore forms and how best to go about mining it. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there are occasionally times where one block doesn't lead straight on to the next block in terms of the vein, and you need to actually continue through the vein a little bit to continue mining it. And there's a whole bunch of zombies getting a little bit of sunburn, and considering how annoying they've been, good on them. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I light up my way down here so I don't spawn more zombies. Now, one thing you may notice is I do have a couple of forestry backpacks with me. And the reason why I have these is they contain 15 stacks of common mining of common stuff you'll mine. So you'll have things like cobblestone, dirt, sand, clay, that sort of thing. It won't hold minerals. You actually need the miner's backpack for that, and that is something I may look at getting into once I have more ore, but it actually requires iron as well, so it's not something I'm going to be getting immediately. So this is already over a larger area than a standard copper vein would be, or a standard ore vein would be. Now you'll notice that when I'm looking at the copper with the pickaxe, you'll see that the mining level is entry, which means that it can be basically mined with any tool. And we're still digging down. And we found ourselves a cavern. I'm not going to explore that just yet. Most because I want to focus on the copper at the moment. But one of the things I can certainly do in another episode is explore downwards and see what that leads to. Future mining is mostly going to consist of better tools, and when we get access to them, something like a quarry or the RF tools builder to basically mine out a large area at once. As I think I've mentioned, I actually do prefer when mining to actually make a large hole in the ground, which is one reason why I don't typically use such mines on the overworld. In other news, it looks like we may be getting a version of Binny's bees on the pack. What's been happening is Binny has been missing in action, and as such he hasn't been updating the pack directly. Now that's one reason why I brought so much wood, because I knew I was going to have to remake a few tools, especially considering how long stone lasts for. It's only got a durability of 131. and we might as well make ourselves another 4 pickaxes. One of the good sides to making the forestry backpacks is we actually have a lot more storage capacity for things like cobblestone. So in circumstances where you would normally fill up our inventory, basically it fills up the backpack first. There are other ways we could have gone around the fact that we would be getting a large amount of cobblestone our trips, using something like a dev null, which will actually just store 1 stack of material and then delete anything else that comes into your inventory. But cobblestone is something I want to actually store at the moment. As you can see, this vein is still going. We've actually found a bit of redstone. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put another torch up, and then I'm going to put a waypoint here. You see I found some other exposed ores. I'm going to mark it green, so everything is the one colour, while all of the exposed ores are one colour. Now, as you can see, this is certainly larger than a standard ore cluster. The downside to this is that it tends to be a lot rarer. So whereas you could mine at a certain level for a certain amount of time and you'd be practically guaranteed to run across copper at a certain level, or iron or tin, not so much when it forms in veins like this. Actually, yep, and we can see that some of the copper was hiding and it continues further. So what will typically happen is you'll have a mother lode in the middle, and you'll have 2 tendrils stretching out from the mother lode. And it looks like the mother lode may be in this direction, maybe back a little bit, because there was another exposed part there behind us. And that's what I'm basically searching for at the moment. So as you can see, I've already got a stack of copper. I'm actually going to continue through mining as much as I can, especially as at this early stage of the game we don't have any way to do ore duplication. So going back to what I said earlier in regards to Binny's Bees, the model author, well, the pack is called Binny's Bees, and it basically introduces a large number of other bee species, and those species will create combs for everything from radioactive, the unstable species will create radioactive combs, which you can get rhenium from. You can get other ones that will give you Buildcraft oil or fuel. You can, if you've got a particular mod installed, you can get ones that will give you rubber for use with Mine Factory Reloaded. The reason why it wasn't included in this pack at the start is because the mod itself hasn't been updated to work with Forestry version 4. So I was basically going to wait until it had been updated. Because it is a B mod, it does introduce a lot of, well, it does introduce some world gen in the way of beehives, but that can be countered by either doing further exploration or through RF tool dimensions. On the plus side, well, yeah. So I'm just going to go. Unfortunately, I just right clicked and I actually played some of the ore that I was mining. One of the things I've found is you'll often have multiple different types of ore veins actually cross each other, which is one reason to make sure that you actually go through and make sure you get everything. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it might give us some more iron or hopefully some tin. Unfortunately, while I've found some iron so far, I haven't found any tin. But what I'll do is I'll probably put in a cut here, and I'll bring you back in once I've finished mining the copper if I find something interesting. See you then. So this is what I meant by the molar load, or the base of the core of the vein. As you can see, there's basically a small chamberish worth of copper. As it is, I've already gone 4 1/4 stacks from this one vein. So basically, yes, you will spend a bit of time looking for a vein. Okay, and now I've found a chamber underneath it with a creeper. A creeper that doesn't want me to kill it for some reason. So I do want to kill these creepers so I can get access to the chamber, but I don't want it to kill me. But what's I want to give myself a little bit of room to pull back every time that I attack the creeper. And now I've started having zombies show up. Ah, that looks like a zombie spawner. So it just looks like a large chamber that has a couple of scanners on it. This is interesting. So I know. So this is probably a zombie spawner of some sort. And we're just going to see if we can move forward slowly. You gonna come down, party? Okay, let's see if we can just and that was a case of using the wrong tool. So again, my pickaxe has run out of durability. Let's create another table. So as you can see, there's a number of backpacks you can get within forestry, and even then you've got these and a few others. Thankfully we're not having creepers spawn as well. So that's some nice loot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I know, be a little bit risky. I'm going to seal off the zombie cavern. I don't have much more carrying space, so I'm not really going to explore around here too much. So apatite is added by forestry. It's used in a number of things in relation to the forestry. Oh, tin. That's very good. Hello, Mr. Creeper. I know I said I wasn't going to explore much. But hey, it's netted me a little bit of gunpowder. So I'm going to make a note here that I've got 10. And it's going to be very nice for our purposes. I'll also make a note of the appetite. So that fluorite is used by reactor craft, and it's not something we're going to be using anytime soon. That spawner is going to come in very handy, specifically with Soul Shards Reborn. We can make our own little spawner, and what we need to do is we need to feed it kills essentially. That's lapis. Mushrooms. Oh, this has been a very nice trip for me. So again, just saving it saving the map location. And now wondering how I get out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to my base, I'm going to store some of the stuff, and I shall get back to you on how we process our ores. Welcome back everyone. So one quick tip, if you right click on your forestry bag, you'll see that it's got sand and it's got cobblestone. I'm actually going to be using the sand, so I'm going to take it out. But if you right click on a jabber barrel with this, okay, shift right click, the contents of the digger's barrel backpack will go automatically into the barrel. So in terms of processing our copper, we have a number of options. We can put in a grindstone, which we don't have. This is what we're going to be doing, but I'll skip that for a moment. We don't have a grinder. We don't have an extractor, as lovely as that would be. We certainly wouldn't be decomposing it just yet. We don't have a sag mill, which we're not going to be using. So we are forced to use the empty crucible. So the way you make those is you get a block of clay, you put it in your crafting grid with your sand, and you get an unfired crucible. We're also going to need these ingot molds, so we might as well make them now. We combine, well, first off we have to cook the crucible. I simply think of it as firing a clay jar. So one thing I would like to note, because what I said the previous episode, is I did actually happen to find some soybeans. So I will be bringing those up to 10, 10, 10 at some stage via AgriCraft. A few other things, pineapple, cantaloupe, mustard seeds, bit of eggplant, and a bit of garlic. So I should actually start making some stuffed eggplants at the moment. It's starting to rain, which is lots of fun. And we're just waiting for the crucible to process. So again, I'm just going to put a hold in here and I'll come back to you once it's done. So just want to show you this briefly. So if you look at the top where you've got Whaler and it shows that it's 10 ore, you'll see that the mining level is red and low, which basically means that this entry level pickaxe can't mine it properly. You can mine it, it will get rid of the block, but it won't give you ore in return. Whereas if I use this copper pickaxe, I can mine it without problems. And you'll see it's also quite a bit faster than the stone axe was. So again, I'm just going to work on this for a little bit, get some copper ore. What I'll do then, probably off screen, is combine it into bronze. I'll show you how to do that later. And I'll also see if I can grab some iron for the next stage of the process. That's it for this episode. Hopefully I will see you again shortly. Please let me know if you have any suggestions. Thank you. Bye.